Today, we have a absolutely insane co-op season game between Brandon and myself. So we were playing as Paris Saint-Germain, and we were playing against some kids playing as Real Madrid. And, I mean, this game's absolutely insane. There's 8 goals involved. There's an own goal. There's a penalty kick. Most of it occurs in the second half. So the first half is just going to be more of a commentary just about FIFA in general. And you can just kind of watch the gameplay. There is 2 goals scored in the first half, but there's 6 scored in the second half. So it's definitely not as exciting as the second half, as per soccer is in real life as occasion. So I just want to talk about FIFA a little bit. FIFA 18. There's not exactly any new steps regarding the gameplay, which I suppose is fine because the gameplay I've never had a problem with. I've always been pretty good at this game, and not to toot my own horn, but I've always been pretty good at this game. Not an expert, like I'm not, on a competitive level or anything to play for money or anything, but it's just a really exciting game to play. I buy it every year. I've bought it every year since FIFA 10. It doesn't really get worse or better to me. The year that they really stepped it up was about like FIFA 08. That's when you noticed, from what I've been told, I wasn't playing FIFA at the time, but from other YouTubers I've seen, apparently that's when the series really took off into just an extremely more competitive kind of nature, and just the gameplay in general, just the passing, the shooting, the off-the-ball movement, just the crispness of the game, the way that it's meant to be played in video game style. That was really the year. It was FIFA 08. And they've gotten a little better at some little things. They always make little tiny adjustments every year. I understand it takes hours of work to do those things, but it's really nothing significant that changed. There's really nothing that hasn't changed the game in years. Basically what you're paying for every year, depending on which version you buy, is some Ultimate Team packs, basically, the updated roster, of course. That's how EA makes their money, basically, is the updated rosters. When you consider Madden and NHL and games like that. Nope, WWE is 2K. Nope, 2K is WWE, but same concept basically, where you're just paying for the roster pretty much. The gameplay, doesn't really change. It has the same audience, it has the same player base every year, and that's fine. But it's just, I just like to see some growth in the game, and what that is, I'm not quite sure. I don't get paid the big bucks to do that. If they want to hire me, hey, I can be the creative director. Hey, we can come up with some things. So they score their first goal there, as you see. Casemiro, the Brazilian midfielder from Madrid, they score there. So we're down 1-0. This is our first game of the day. I was not planning on recording this video. That's why I'm doing a over commentary video of it, because the original commentary, it's not really made suitable for videos or anything. That's why I'm doing an overlay, talking about it. But yeah, anyway, so oh, look at that. He just cooked Brandon right there. Brandon, he's not gonna like that. But Brandon got absolutely cooked on the sideline there. Oh, I remember this situation right here. I didn't know I was the goalie because I was having a problem this whole game with thinking that I'm red, because I'm usually red, because usually it's me that invites Brandon, but this occasion it was him that invited me. So the player 1 is always red, player 2 is blue. So there was about 4 or 5 occasions where I thought I was red, and I just couldn't get used to it until the second game is when I finally got used to it. And so they even scored a goal because I thought I was red. But anyways, getting back to FIFA, I don't know what kind of steps they can make. Probably a new game mode would be the most. That's the most obvious kind of new addition fix that they could do. Come FIFA 19 next year, they're working on that game now. As I pass it out of bounds, absolutely splendid football from Tyler. They work it down the sideline here. I think this might be when they score their second goal. I think it's coming. No, next time they come down the field. And I don't know what kind of game mode they could do, but I think just making the roster, like, FIFA has the biggest sports roster out of any game in the world. When you consider all the leagues and the clubs that they have, as well as international teams. They have leagues in Austria. They have leagues that basically have no business being in there. When I think they should add, in particular, I think they should add some international teams. I've been crying for Nigeria to get added as a team for years because, I have some of my favorite players are Nigerian, and I just, I think they have great uniforms. I think just their team. I just want their team in the game. But like some of those players, you can't even find them, because if they play in China, they don't have the China either, because basically the FAs of whatever country that is, they just don't allow the license for EA to put their players and the league, represent the league in that video game. I don't know exactly what the problem is. I would assume that FIFA tries to get every single player and league in the world, considering they have like leagues in Austria and everything. Nobody's playing career mode in the Austrian league. Nobody's buying players in the Austrian league for their ultimate team. No one's getting on co-op seasons like me and Brandon are here playing with Austrian teams. No one's doing that. But the fact they don't have the Chinese league, which has some super players there now, over the last 3 years since that league has gotten new owners for all their teams with a lot more money, basically. Just more rich people owning the team is basically why they have so much better players now. They have some former Chelsea players, because I'm a big Chelsea fan. I always like to keep up with the former players, because once a blue, always a blue is the saying. And they have players like John Obi Mikel and Ramirez, some midfielders that were with us for a long time, won a lot of titles. Not only can you not access that anywhere in the world, so you can't watch those games at all. There's really no way. Possibly on Twitter, like Periscope or something, but that's really about it, if that. And I just think FIFA getting that league and some of those players would benefit a lot, because that way, people that want to keep up with these players, like Carlos Tevez is also in China, Oscar, former Chelsea man and Brazilian midfielder, is in China, and I just think that, FIFA should go all out. I don't know what it is with China, why they don't want. Don't get me wrong, I understand why North Korea is not in the game at all, but that's besides the point. China, I don't see, I understand, they might have their problems with, personally, all that government politics and shit that I try and stay out of, but I don't understand why the league isn't in the game. But anyways, so yeah, just FIFA as a whole, as a game, it's always been fun, but I don't know, I see myself maybe possibly in like 2 to 3 years just stop playing this game, because it really is the same game every year. The graphics might look just a tad bit better. They've at least gone into a new direction with the journey. I will give them that. All the stuff with Alex Hunter and whatnot, I applaud them for that. This year it's much longer than FIFA 17 when they introduced the journey with Alex Hunter. This year it's much longer. It's pretty fun. I might get some of that on the channel eventually. I might start from scratch, immediately from scratch, and start uploading from the start to the end on the channel. But yeah, so I don't know if it's a game mode or like what. I mean, they could spin around with ideas. I'm sure they have ideas every year, but they eventually decide to nix it because they decide there's so many game modes. And I do enjoy it. I am probably one of the only players that plays every game mode on this game. I really do play every game mode. I play single player seasons. I gotta interrupt myself here. Watch us just mess up the sweaty. That's my fault. I passed it. I should have just shot it. And you might be able to hear Brandon in the background audio just yelling at me. I should have shot it, but I did not. So yeah, I play regular seasons. I play co-op seasons, with my friends, as I am here with Brandon. I'll play career mode when the game starts to like die out, like in the summer. I'll get on career mode. I'm playing a little bit now with Chelsea. I always play with Chelsea and buy my favorite players and everything. I play pro clubs. I really like playing pro clubs with my friends. That's my favorite game mode in the game is pro clubs. I think it's absolutely so fun. I'll tell you what though, one way they can improve pro clubs if they really want it. I've had this idea for about a year now. If they made pro clubs players, so there's 10 divisions in pro clubs. If they made the players instead of just random computers of people that don't exist, they're probably like freaking techs at EA or something that made the game, and they just like put their name in there as a computer just as like a thank you kind of thing. It just as like a funny little subtle joke between the company. Game developers do that kind of stuff all the time. We just don't realize it. Let's see what happens here. I think I score here. Yep. I get off the rebound, get us on the board, 2-1. So that's 3 goals down. There's still 5 to come in the second half with only 33 minutes left in the actual game. And yeah, my idea for pro clubs was that you could make real players, like actual players, as your computers in the game. That way, it's just kind of more fun because like when your computer just screws up and you get scored on because of that, you're just like blaming this like faceless, nameless player that doesn't really exist in real life. And everybody knows that. But if you add real players, like if Division 10 and 9 have like kind of no-name players from like I don't know, let's just say some like leagues that you don't really pay attention to, like the Belgian league. So like, you gotta have players like Genk from there, the club Genk, and you could have you could, as you go up, you could continue to have better players. Division 8 and 7 get a new tier of players. And yeah, as you get higher in the division, the players get better that you're actually playing with. And I just think that'd be a really cool idea. That's just something I kind of came up with. Once you get to like Division 1 and 2, then you start to have like real good players. As I earn a penalty kick here, I'm gonna slot it home just to spoil that for y'all. Gonna slot it home. I was considering kicking this up the middle, but Brandon, because I like to kick it up the middle. It's just really funny to me. But in this situation, I just wanted to get a goal in. Gonna slot it right in there in the right corner. I was like, oh yeah, buddy. Luckily for me, he dived the wrong way, so we were able to get back in the game. But yeah, I just, once you get to like Division 1 and 2 in pro clubs, for instance, you could have better players, as your computers on the team. I'm not saying like Messi or Ronaldo or any players like that. Like maybe like 83 to 85 overall is your overall players for Division 1 and 2. And it would just make it a little more fun. Just something they could add. Just make it a little more fun. So yeah, we're getting into, Brandon's making a couple substitutions here for our team, for Paris Saint-Germain. We got Mbappe and Neymar on the scoreboard. So we're in, what minute are we in? We're in like the 67th minute as we just score. I believe he brings on Hatem Ben Arfa, and then he brings on Cavani. He brings on Cavani for Mbappe. Or no, Di Maria actually. This is when it starts to get really good, man. So they've just scored their third goal. We've just got back into it, 2-3. It gets crazy here. I forget I'm blue right there. I don't know what's going on. I always try and stay in front of the player here. We got Gareth Bale. He's gonna cook Brandon real quick. Just kidding. It just bounced off his leg. That was close to a penalty, but they ultimately called it not. There's another instance. I just kept forgetting I was blue. Like, I just don't know. I just have no idea what I was doing this game, but I eventually figured it out that I was blue. It was distracting me the whole game, man. My passes were getting deflected like crazy in this game. I was complaining about that in the original audio all the time. I don't know what happened. I don't know if it was just the situations I was being put in. My passes were getting blocked all the time. As he tried to spring Neymar there free, but as fast as he is, he couldn't get it. So there comes on Cavani for Di Maria. Ben Arfa comes on. But this is when it starts to get spicy. So I'm seeing Star Wars tonight. Also, very excited for that. I've seen on Twitter lots of people are saying there's a lot of surprises, which is expected. But they said surprises is in plural, so that did surprise me a little bit as I lose the ball here in the box. I definitely expect a surprise involving Ray's origin, but I'm wondering what the other surprises are. So I'm very excited to see this tonight. It's opening day here in the U.S. as I tie it up with Cavani. Absolutely smashed it home in the corner. So we got about 13 minutes left in the actual game. It's going to start to get even more crazy. Just lots of goals in all this game. Not much defending really at all. I mean, I felt like we were defending well individually. It's just like there were lapses of concentration that led to goals for them ultimately. And I feel like that's what led to pretty much all the goals for them too, really. I feel like everyone individually was defending fine, but it was just we were all so good on offense. That's just the problem. The co-op seasons can get absolutely mad sometimes when you have 4 players controlling, the two teams. It can get crazy, man. I do love this game mode. I enjoy it. I've been playing a little Ultimate Team too. I might put some of that on the channel. Oh, watch this. Watch this fail from Brandon. Watch this. Oh, goodness. Oh, goodness. I was ragging on him about that, man. Because I scored all 4 goals in this game. So I was ragging on him about that. He had his chance to get his one. I believe this is where we get our 4th. Yeah, he has an absolute splendid ball. One touch with Cavani. That was Cavani's thing, man. One touch with the shot is absolutely fantastic. So there you see, it's the you know, what is that? The 83rd, 84th minute? Yeah, 85th minute, and we've just gone up 4-3 after being down 3-1. So right here, we're thinking, wow, we have a great comeback in store. That's what's just happened. Little did we know. But yeah, I've been playing a little Ultimate Team. You know, I don't have the best players because I'm not, you know, one of those that's going to spend money on packs. I just think that's silly. I'd rather just earn in the game. Although, you know, I'd be the first to tell you it's not as easy to earn players as much as it should be, in my opinion. Now it's getting a little better, you know, with Christmas and like Black Friday and stuff. They make the players' value all goes down, but it's still a little just too hard. Like you're never gonna like it's just a little too hard for, you know, like casual players like me. So you know, people that only play FIFA, that's fine. You know, it's fine for it to be high for them, but for casual players that only play FIFA every now and then, oh, here comes the goal that we eventually get scored on. So he passed it back to me as the goalie. Watch this. I clear it one touch, and in my own net. Great, great. You could just, oh my goodness. I was laughing pretty hard at this. Brandon did not think it was funny. I mean, look, but I did it one touch. It's not like I played around with it. I did it one touch. So just to spoil that for you, that is at the end of the game. The blow whistle's gonna be blown at any second now. I thought that this game was absolutely hilarious. I was not planning on recording this and uploading it, but the fact it was an 8-goal game, it included a comeback, it included a penalty kick, it included the comeback being ruined ultimately by you know, essentially an own goal. It bounced, you know, my clearance bounced right off him. So I scored the 4 goals. You could say I scored a goal for them. So this has been Tie or Die with 3 E's at the end. If you liked the video, give it a like. If you didn't like it, give it a dislike. That's great too. Share it if you have some extra time. Subscribe if you're not already. Thank you very much. Peace from the Southeast.